right, hello everyone. How are you guys today? Good. Hello, internet world. Today we are going to be talking about connected photography and why you should care. I am your host, Laura Hicks, and I've got three awesome guys sitting right next to me. I'm going to introduce them first, and then we're going to get straight into the panel discussion. All right, on the end down there, we've got Josh Trujillo. Wow, I screwed that one up. Trujillo. I even practiced that ahead of time. I told you I'd screw it up. All right. Working as a visual journalist since 1999, Josh uses his craft to document the unique and ordinary. His work has been published in almost every major U.S. newspaper and magazine, including on the front page of the New York Times and full-page features in People magazine and Sports Illustrated. His photos are often shared via the Associated Press, but probably more rewarding, his photos have been featured on countless refrigerators in the community where he has worked. That's Josh. All right, next to him is Brad Pwett. Brad is a photographer whose documentary work showcases the street and its lifestyle as his subject. As a self-taught artist who has developed a style and composition all of his own, his award-winning work is recognized around the globe. Brad is a regular contributor to Huffington Post and About.com. He has also contributed to other publications such as Washington Post, Photomag Brazil, Vice, Slate Magazine, and The Guardian UK. There's Brad. All right, next to me we have Jonathan Alcorn. Jonathan is an award-winning Los Angeles-based editorial and corporate Samsung image logger photographer whose career highlights include having the lead photos of the LA Times 1994 Pulitzer Prize-winning Northridge Earthquake Edition and curating a photography project by dementia patients benefiting the Alzheimer's Association. All right, and there's Jonathan. All right, so guys, what we're gonna do first is we're just gonna talk a little bit about connectivity and what it means to your work. So let's just start down the line, and what I want you to do is tell me a little bit about how you use connectivity and how it relates to your work. So what does that mean to you?
Well, with the type of photography I do, which tends to be mostly news and sports photography, I'm out trying to capture images that I share instantly. You know, I want them to be out there immediately. So earlier this week, during the Seattle Seahawks game, I was on the sidelines with my camera, which has got a Wi-Fi capability, and it's transmitting to my phone, and I'm filing live photos from the sidelines, trying to get them published as quickly as possible. So for me, connectivity just means, you know, being able to be out there documenting the world and being able to have it enter the public stream, the social media stream, instantly, have it get out there immediately. And you know, by nature of that type of work I do, that's what it needs to be done, is immediately.
Awesome.
I think for me, it's I've grown into more of Josh's role now with some of the gigs I've been getting, but prior to, the connectivity aspect of it was really about how do I connect with people, how do I share with folks who will appreciate my work, and kind of like where you build an audience, right? So the idea for me for connectivity is similar to the exposure triangle, right? So you have the three aspects of it that you need in order for it to work. So I have in my head every single time the idea that I have to understand the technology, I have to understand the fundamentals of photography, and I have to understand like when is the best place and best time to share. I've been lucky and I've been blessed to be able to monetize through mostly my mobile work. My mobile work has been the most fruitful as opposed to my other camera work. So.
I love the idea of talking about the monetizing that. I think let's get back to that in just a little bit, because I think that's going to be a really big thing with all three of you guys, but I would love to talk about that in just a minute, so don't let me get too far away from that idea. Also, can you share with us what you have in your hand right now?
Yes, so I've been handed a DxO1, and the DxO1 is a small itty-bitty camera that you can fit in your palm and actually connects to the iOS device. I had a photo walk yesterday with Jordan Stead. We had a few folks who showed up, and they all each had a DxO1, and we told them we'll give the best photo with the DxO1. We'll give that person an actual unit. And so I'm going to announce now that Nainoa Kimura, you get a DxO1. He's sitting right back there. If you want to give me a shaka real quick, bro. There you go.
Yay.
He's going to get a DxO1.
Congrats. All right. Awesome. You're up.
Okay, so a lot of what I do is I'm a wire service photographer, and we as soon as I show up on the scene, my editors usually want a photo within about 5 minutes. And recently, I started shooting with the Samsung NX1, and it connects. You just bump it to the camera with my smartphone. It immediately connects, and I'm able to send a photo right from where I'm standing instead of having to lug around a laptop, download onto the laptop and send. This frees me up to, takes me a minute probably at max to send one photo out, and then I'm able to shoot right away because in breaking news, it's so quick usually. So it's been a huge advantage for me to have the connectivity that with the camera with Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah, so yours is really easy because all you're doing is tapping it to the...
Yeah, it's incredible actually.
Yeah, when I use it with my camera, which is an Olympus, I use it with the Wi-Fi connectivity, so mine connects through an app. Yours is an FC, yours is through an app, or how do you use it?
I use the iFi card, actually.
Okay, oh, okay, yeah, iFi card, that's right, we talked about that. And how are you using it, Brad?
Well, when I'm shooting mobile, it's already there for
So
me.
you're on the phone and you're connected all the time.
But I do shoot with Fuji, and so they have an app also.
Awesome, okay.
Actually, we have an app too, but it automatically starts it when you bump it. It's really fast.
I think what's neat about this group is that we all have different ways that we connect, but we're still all able to do the same thing and connect that way. So, awesome. Before I forget and move on to another cool question that I have for each one of you guys individually, let's go back to the monetizing our images and stuff like that you were talking about. So, I think you guys each do it in different ways, but Brad, you brought it up. So let's go ahead and start with you talking about being able to monetize your photography.
So everyone knows about Instagram. I'm assuming everyone knows about Instagram. If you don't, Instagram, download it on your mobile device and come with 2015. I started Instagram probably in 2010. I think that's when it first came out, and I was real hesitant with it. I shot, my first picture is of my dog, right?
Your dog.
Like before I even decided to go, like this is going to be my gallery, this is what I wanted to share. It's my awesome half mastiff dog. And I left it there just to remind me like, no, hold on, I'm not going to be whatever. So the gallery actually had garnered, or the Instagram actually had garnered a lot of hits. And I believe I had up to like, in the first 2 months, I had like 4,000 followers. I was getting hit up by a local festival to hear Bumper Shoot to talk about the technology and all of that. And I was, ever since then, it just kept snowballing where I would get hit up by Microsoft, I would get hit by Amazon, I would get hit by whatever. And I would find myself with my mobile phone shooting Justin Timberlake, the opening for his 2020. I would be on the VMAs. I would be at concerts that I would never, and they don't want me to shoot with my big camera. They wanted to shoot with my mobile, and they paid really well. And I couldn't say no. And it was fun, and it still brings me opportunities that I don't think I probably would have had if it wasn't for Instagram, the whole idea of mobile photography. The one thing I do also, aside from monetization, is that it's the community that really has garnered. I think the contacts that I was able to have gotten through Instagram, the community that I've been able to help foster through Instagram and other social networks has also kind of brought me those gigs. And yeah, I just count my blessings every day. I wonder about what I would have been doing 5 years ago. So.
Awesome. All right, which one of you guys wants to talk a little bit? Either one of you have anything that you want to talk about with monetizing?
Actually, when I first used Instagram, it was strictly mobile phone photography I was using, and it really actually it helped me because I was set with a fixed lens instead of zoom lenses, which I was so used to. And I really actually got really into it right away. I was like, this is awesome. It's a new challenge for me. And then I started shooting, when I got the connected cameras, I started using those for my Instagram feed. And after I started, I live in Venice Beach, so I'm posting a lot of beach shots, and it's really made me stretch to do that because I'm shooting the same area all the time, and it's been an incredible experience, like learning. But what happened was I've had a couple Fortune 500 companies contact me because of my Instagram feed and hired me to do their Instagram feed which was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, I was just a journalist forever, and now I'm doing all these other things. So it's been an amazing experience for me.
That's really neat. Yeah, very good.
Monetization?
Yeah, just kind of talking about like how
So for
has-
me, it's a little different because I have a staff job. So I'm in a staff role. So the monetization part of it is what I do is using, connected social photography to try to bring people back to this other content that is on, the publication that I'm working for. So it's a little bit of a different way of using it. Do I use it still as like my social media presence as a calling card? Absolutely. Do I use that as a way to advertise my work and push it out there? Absolutely. And so that's building my own brand by doing that. But at the same time, one of my goals for being, employed by somebody is trying to drive people to that content that they have posted on their platform.
Right. So basically, you're helping them monetize their websites. That's good.
Yes.
That's good. Good. All right. I have a question individually for each one of you. So I'd like to go through and do those, and then we're going to add do the group questions again in a little bit. So I'm going to start with Josh. Josh, you started shooting in Afghanistan in 2001. And that was arguably the year that digital imaging finally reached its maturity in the news media. What were the biggest challenges you felt like you faced with the digital imaging back then? And maybe talk about how it's changed for you.
Yeah, well, it's quite different now. I think I went to Afghanistan with my first digital camera, and I'm on the airplane, flying to Tajikistan with the instruction manual, trying to figure out how do I use this thing. I believe it was a 2 megapixel Canon model camera. But the challenge was, once I get there, getting the images back to the United States. So fortunately, I had a satellite phone with me. But the appetite for information back in the United States during that time was enormous. Everybody wanted to know what was happening over there on the other side of the globe, as our attention was focused there. And using digital photography, I was able to, feed that desire for people to have that information, that visual information. And it's changed immensely. We all know that from back, I look back at that camera that I was using then and that technology that I was using, and what I have in my pocket now with my smartphone is incredible. Typically what I do though now, I've kind of moved more toward is using my DSLR as my camera, and then transmitting the picture into my phone, and then even for social media stuff. I tend to not use my smartphone camera as much anymore, and probably for me the reason is because my case is really dirty and the lens is kind of messed up, so that's probably the real reason I'm not using it as much.
So clean your case and maybe you'll start using it more.
It's scratched really bad.
I hear you. It gets a lot of wear and tear. All right, I'm going to move on. We're going to talk about news for a second, and we'll come back to you, Brad, because I just want to kind of follow the news path for a second. So, Jonathan, you have been photographing breaking news since the 1990s. When you were like 2 years old or something.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, right. In that time, has connectivity improved the quality of news photojournalism or just the speed of its delivery? How do you feel like it's affected that?
I think actually it's improved the work because everybody's connected now, and we know that going in that people were already on scene on a breaking event before we arrive, and so I know, man, I'm gonna have to get some really good photos and make really good photos maybe after the actual event happened, the aftermath or whatever, and it's made me work a lot harder knowing that my editors also, they're searching the web, they're looking on Instagram for hashtags of the event I'm at, they'll buy them, or if people want to donate them, they'll take them and have them out there. So I have that in my mind, and I know, okay, I'm gonna really work harder now because I'm competing with everybody, not just the other photographers. I'm competing with everybody with a phone on a breaking story.
And that's a really good point now, because with so many people having cell phones and being able to photograph things that way, it makes you have to do like Double duty then.
It pushes us. It pushes us farther because everybody is out there with a cell phone. And the way that photography is working now, if you want your work to stand out, you really have to go above and beyond. Which honestly, I like being in that space. I like to be pushed because, if I'm rolling with the masses, then, I'm getting what everybody else is getting. And I don't want that because that's not going to make my work stand out. So I'm assuming that by seeing that social stream, it pushes you farther and harder and makes you really want to achieve more out there in the field.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that, Josh.
Awesome. Good job, guys. All right, Brad, we're going to change the pace just a little bit. And I want to... Don't be scared. It's all right. So I want to talk to you about the new photographers that you're working with. So you do a lot of teaching. So do you find the new photographers that you work with that their approach to picture taking is different thanks to their immersion in the social and mobile imaging, or how do you see that?
I think the important part so I'm teaching mobile photography, connected photography, social photography at one of the colleges in Seattle, and I'm not finding younger folks who are really in need to understand the social media aspects of it, to understand the exposure triangle that I was saying earlier. I'm finding that there's a lot more, probably, I would say 25 to 40 and up range of folks who are like, they've got a smartphone camera, they want to be able to learn how to really use the camera and to be able to come up with some awesome images because they see that other folks are doing it. To understand the app ecosystem, to understand where to share, and how to gain followers and audience and all that fun stuff. And so I'm finding that those folks are the ones who want to get more involved into photography. I think, probably when Instagram first started blowing up, I think everyone started talking about the democratization, right? Is that the right word?
That's it.
Democratization. Woo, I gotta say it again. I'm so good I say it again. The democratization, see, I said it 3 times, of photography, right? Like that means everyone is able to learn about the idea of visual storytelling. Now, not everyone is able to do it correctly, or not everyone is able to really maximize the opportunities that they have, but they still want to do it. And I think that we have these two up here. We have other folks that we really look up to. Like I find myself as someone who never really was taught photography, right? Like I was actually a spoken word and hip hop poet, right? And I got a family, so I can't really go on tour and be spitting rhymes and awesome smoke-filled bars anymore, right? Like I gotta be home. And so how do I find my creative outlet? Well, I use my mobile phone, and that's what garnered me some recognition. And so there are other folks like that who are finding themselves able to reach out and learn. The newer photographers, like what I tell them is that, yeah, if you focus on the fundamentals of photography and learn about the fundamentals of photography, and then throw in the aspects of social media and understanding that as well, and then you go over you understand a little bit about the technology part of it, you're going to be successful. You're going to be able to at least produce an image that you're going to be happy with, which is the most important. So,
yeah, I was going to say, when I first started in photography, I had to wait hours or days even to see what I was shooting. I had no idea. And the learning curve now is so much quicker because you're seeing what you're getting and making adjustments right on the fly. And photography is exploding right now. It's amazing to see. And the other day we had that lunar eclipse, and I was thinking this might be the most photographed event in the history of mankind, probably for sure, because everybody was seeing it. And it was like, that's just mind-blowing to me, how far it's come in 25 years.
Yeah, it's a great time to be involved in photography and immersed in photography because there's so much passion behind it right now. It's so accessible. The democratization. Democratization. It's a real thing. It's a real thing in publishing. It's a real thing in manufacturing. You have 3D printers and all this technology now that is really making creativity much more accessible for regular people, and to be able to create things that previously were, I think I look back at photography, in the old days. And one of the advantages we had as professionals was we could also bill the client for, dozens and dozens of rolls of film and processing. That was one of our advantages that we had back then, was we could shoot a lot of pictures and of course give them the best ones, but we were able to bill that other stuff too. And everybody else really, you couldn't invest in that. That was a barrier, but those barriers have been stripped away. And now, everybody can go out and shoot many, many, many photos of one situation or scenario, choose the best ones, put those on their Instagram feed, and rise above everybody else.
Yeah, I think the direction that photography is going is really amazing. We're getting down to the end. I want to do a really quick question for each one of you guys that I find interesting as like a photo geek. I geek out about new technology and things like that. So just to throw it out there to you guys, if you have any thoughts about this, what do you feel like would be a really cool feature or set of features for them to have and put on camera, mobile device, anything like that, that would just help skyrocket whether it was your career or your work that you're doing, or just help you out in the whole process? Do you have any thoughts about that or anything that you'd love to see?
I would like to be able to snap my smartphone just right into the back of my pro level DSLR.
Oh, sweet. Yes.
I will
Docking
second
bay.
that. I will
Docking
definitely
bay.
second that.
I will third that.
All right,
Democratization.
camera
Hello.
companies, you've heard it.
Camera manufacturers.
Yes, we need all of you guys to listen up. This is what we're looking for. So direct connectivity from our cameras straight to
Forget
our...
the Wi-Fi. I want it to dock into the back of the camera.
One less thing to have to carry around and potentially lose.
Oh, guys, that's awesome. I really love that. Ending on that note. I mean, we could talk forever, but I actually really like ending on that note. That's really cool. So I want to say thank you guys very much for being up here with me, and thank you for talking about connectivity. And we appreciate your time, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.